You are listening to the We Hired a Sitter for This podcast.
We hired a sitter for this.
We have a roster of like 7 sitters.
I'm spending $3,000 on paints.
Do you go to therapy?
Never have, nah.
There was a small fire. I put it out.
Real talk, the stakes are too high with my baby.
Comedy, parenting, married, life.
We do it all.
I'm a dad and I'm busy.
I have an opinion. I don't know if it'll be right, but
I'm Patrick.
my name is Gastor.
We hired a sitter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to We Hired a Sitter for This. This is episode 171. We are cooking. It's 2025. We're in my living room in Bushwick. My name is Patrick Holbert.
What's good? My name is Gastor Monte.
And this is going to be an interesting one because we just had an incredibly inspiring business meeting. Gastor's got me fired up about my career as a filmmaker, as a comedian, as an art person. And now I'm like, I don't want to record a podcast. I want to be out in the world making stuff.
Let's do it.
We're here in this world making stuff now.
It was still part of it.
Where did you get this business acumen? Where did you get this part of you that knows you find solutions and you have plans and schemes and ideas? Where did this come from? Did you always have this?
Nah, that's all dad. My dad, everything I've had in my life in terms of like economics or any of that, like my dad has never worked for anybody since I've known him. And I think that changes the way you approach business. Like, I every one of my friends that I know that's worked a traditional job, there's moments where I see that they're like, I don't know how to fix this, and like there's no solution in their head, and that's not an option if it's your shit.
Yeah.
And the kids still got to eat. Your wife still needs stuff. So I seen my dad in spots that like I know would have broken other people.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nah, B, there's an answer. And I seen him brainstorm an answer.
Yeah.
And even with my stuff, when I felt like I don't know what to do, he points out the silliness of that. He's like, you don't got you tell jokes, my G. There's always an answer to whatever you're trying to solve. Your problems are easier in that regard.
Yeah.
In terms of the business side of it. So like anytime I like especially like, when I'm talking with people that I know are talented, like yourself, and we get into a convo where I start hearing things that we're putting in our own way over and over again. They're like
excuses. He's talking about my excuses.
It's just in general, like the excuses, like I don't think people hear themselves when they say them.
Yeah.
And like they're surprisingly like small and silly, but we build them up because we're only talking to us.
Yeah.
So like I think it's important, like when you're saying that, I need to say, like, yo, are you hearing, like, how silly that excuse is? Like, that's not a valid one. And if it's a real one, I'll let you know, like, oh, yeah, that's legit. Because there are a few that, like, yeah, I get that. That's a real problem. Yeah. There's still probably a solution, but that's a legitimately difficult thing.
Right.
The thing we just discussed, the hurdle you mentioned, that's not a real hurdle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, push come to shove, there's so many ways I know we can solve it.
I was talking about loving my child, and he's like, love your child less.
Less.
Do more work.
Get out the way.
That's an excuse.
I forgot her name already.
You think a 4.5-year-old needs nurturing
you
and care?
attached to her? She's only been around 4.5 years.
Get over it.
You've been trying to do comedy 3 times as long as she's been alive.
Yeah.
What do you care about?
You're like, Patrick, you're being selfish.
Come on, B.
She's on her own now.
You leave her in that park in the street. That fake babysitting situation.
Yes.
You don't care.
She's ready for me to go back out there and hunt and gather. That's not what it was about. Gastor loves my family and wants my child to be taken care of. But anyway, I guess I'm curious if, like, when you were a kid, were you out? Did you have, like, a lemonade stand? Or
I flipped baseball cards really early on for profit.
Nice.
In my high school, I got in trouble for selling candies.
Did you have a trench coat with like all the things hanging on the inside?
I had a book bag. They used to have these like they still do those candies that are like shaped like the fruit that they taste like.
Oh yeah.
So
not runts.
So nah. So like at my school you couldn't like sell food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No loose like, merchandise.
Merch.
Yeah.
So like
it says on the box, not for individual resale. You're like, this must be for individual resale.
Amen. Real talk. And like you could like hang out on the block, but like you couldn't leave.
Yeah.
For real, you know what I mean? So like I know that for these hours I have a controlled market.
Right.
So these candies got real popular, and people would be like, yo, let me get one. Like, oh, it's the last one I got. I can't share it. So
but you had a bag full.
I always had a bag full because my dad had a deli.
Right.
So like I would just bring in like 4 or 5 and give them to my friends, and I realized like, oh, I could just sell these.
Yeah.
So I started pumping them. So like they cost like 5-10 cents at the time.
Yeah.
I'm buying the bag wholesale from Pops, straight from like the supplier, like not even like Costco prices. I'm getting like dirt cheap, no tax.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming in with the bag, breaking it in my book bag. So like I'm getting 50 cents to $1 on these things because people got the fix. They want them, and they want them during the day. And these kids got money. I went
so
to
you know
school.
about biology and addiction at this
Real
point
talk.
as well. They need the fix.
And then I knew about how to drive market. So like I would be like, yo, this is my last one. So I would have they would be like freaking they would be betting to see who could bidding to see who could get the last one.
By the way, the current comedy analog to this is when you post on your Instagram stories and you say, just a handful of tickets left to my show this weekend. Get on it now. That means there are dozens and dozens, and probably hundreds of tickets available still. But we have to create a scarcity mindset in the market.
Well, I did it by like literally I would have like a certain amount with me all day. But the last one I would always like do like a bidding war. Yeah. So like I sold the last one for like $10.
That's amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And like it's just literally kids with disposable income. Yeah. Some of them like the flex of saying I got $10 to spend on a candy. Right. And I was like, I don't care about any of that. So like, yo, I was killing. Real talk. Like I got in trouble because like a kid in the school, like their dad worked for that company. Okay. And like started talking about me too much. And like
that guy brought it to corporate and went up the ladder.
But like he talked about it a lot, and like that kid's dad like mentioned it, not even mad, but like jokingly to like somebody at the school that like actually works there. And I got in trouble. But like there was a week, like no lie, I cleared like over $2,000.
That's amazing.
Like I was paying like tuition with that shit. It was crazy.
That's incredible. Yeah. I always had a mind for making money. Like I always like really wanted to make money or figure out hustles to make money. But it came from a different place because I think my dad is a business person. He always worked for himself too.
Hell yeah.
I think with a different level of success and varying levels of success. And it was also a little mysterious and confusing. Like I remember my mom saying, like sometimes we'd be like, hey, can I get this or can I get that? She'd be like, I don't have the money for it, and your dad hasn't paid himself yet this week, so I don't know if we have it. And I remember thinking, like, my dad pays himself? Does that just mean like it's an unlimited resource? Like he could just pay himself whenever, which is obviously not the case. So yeah, growing up, I think I hoarded money. I did a lot of like anytime I got change, I had this change bucket in my room, and I would do a lot of like packing the paper rollers full of change and counting money. I was like, but it came from a place of scarcity. It didn't come from a place of like, the more I work, the more I make. That came later. Right. That did come eventually. But when I was a kid, it was like a very like, how do I seek out this limited resource that I feel like I don't have access to, and how do I hoard it? Right. So which I think still affects me to this day.
That's real. It's good to know that about yourself.
But then eventually, it was like, oh yeah, I can hustle and make more the more I do. So I still am figuring out a healthy relationship to money and business and effort and time and all that stuff.
The challenge I have is that I don't think they're the same part of your brain, and I don't think that you can feed both at the same time. So like when I'm thinking economically, I don't write jokes well. I don't write jokes at all.
Totally. Yeah.
And then in turn, when I'm being really creative, I find that I'm actually far more irresponsible economically. Yeah. Like I make worse decisions with money, but I'm writing really good jokes.
I have something that might inspire you with this specific topic. I might have talked about this on here. Lindsay Goldwert. Did you ever know Lindsay?
I don't believe, maybe.
She used to produce shows in Sunnyside, Queens. Really funny comic. Got into comedy in adulthood. She was doing a podcast about money. It might have been called Funny Money or something like that.
Okay.
And it only had like 20 episodes or something, but she had Mark Normand on once, and he said, I think of joke writing as a money thing. He's like, the more good jokes I write, the more jokes I can put on an album, and then that album will get plays and will sell. So when I write a joke that I really love and I know is going to do well, I literally view that as a piece of money.
That's awesome.
And I love that so much because that is the product we sell.
Hell yeah.
But now, and that podcast episode is probably 8 years old now. Now it has changed so much though. Like now it's like we're all thinking like, well, how do I get a clip up to get the views? Because if I get the views, then I'll get the followers, then I'll get the bookings, then I'll get the money.
Right.
But back then it was more like
joke money.
Just get the jokes and make a new hour every year or two, and that's how I'll get more money.
I mean, there's a joke on my first album about my boy Tooth. I lent him $180.
Yeah.
And he never paid it back.
Yeah.
And I've made like over like $2,000 in streams from that joke. It's one of the jokes that streams well.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, like that was a good investment.
You got your money back.
I got my money back. I still want my money too, to be clear. I think that's dope. That like the joke like kind of paid me back in a weird way.
Yeah. So anyway, I share that to say that maybe when you're doing your business sessions in your mind and you're like, man, I should really switch my brain over to the art side to go write something, maybe there's a way to meld them together where it's like,
I'm still being
this
responsible.
Is a worthy economic endeavor to sit here and write these jokes.
I like that. That's fire. Real talk.
I'm saying that as an unsuccessful comedian. So
hey, we here together, baby. We trying.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so we had this chat about business and art, and you've got some exciting things coming up. We have to keep it vague. I mean, a lot of this stuff is sort of so exciting and so new, but y'all got to keep hanging out with us to see what this year's going to bring.
Hell yeah.
This guy's got all sorts of incredible and exciting collaborations coming up.
I got to empty the barrel, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not famous, I'm not rich, and I feel like I should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not even I feel like I should be. I feel like people that know me think I should be.
Yeah.
And I feel the pressure of that.
Yeah.
So I just want to like know that if the answer is I'm still not rich, I want to be able to say, yo, but I tried.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so this year I'm doing a lot of things that I think will A, highlight what I'm good at, B, highlight that I'm willing to try things.
Yeah.
You know, and C, that I'm really good to work with. Yeah. So I think between that, I'm hoping it'll be like, all right, somebody throw me a bag.
Yeah, yeah.
In the middle of that, but also just somebody like help me make cool things. So we'll see. But I am definitely like making cool things on my own and with other people that I rock with, in hopes that it brings attention to just my art in general.
Yeah, yeah. And I think emptying the clip, as you say, is such a cool and exciting place to be. I'm just getting a taste of that. I've my special coming out in April, and it's only 33 minutes long, but like it's all jokes that I love, and I go to if I'm headlining, especially, like I do all that material because it works and it's fun.
It's gone,
and it's just gonna be gone. And so this last month of shows, I've been doing a couple new bits and stories that I'm really excited about, and it's felt really inspiring to like consciously like listen back to the set every night and be like, oh, what could I do different tomorrow night? And I've had a nice little string of shows, and it feels like for the first time in a while, I feel like a comic again, in the full sense of the word, of like, I don't just go do the show, but I'm like thinking about it all the time again.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. So you're sort of in that place in a big way, because your career has been elevating, but maybe not like rocket shipping yet.
Yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? Either way, I like what I do. I think I'm good at it, and I think it adds value to my life. So I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, there comes a point where you gotta own things too. Like I love the art that I make, but I also, as much as like, yo, we want to be PC, like, nah, be like, I'm rooting for all my people. Nah, this comics I don't like. I don't rock with y'all. Like, not as a person, even though some of you as a person, but more so, there's some things I'm just like, I don't think that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
But every time I see that, I have to admit they outworked me. And I just being real, like every comic that I know that I genuinely don't vibe with their comedy, when I take a step back and I look at the work ethic, all of them got it.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to give them that.
And are you saying specifically people who are getting things that you haven't gotten yet?
Yeah,
or,
literally that. Like there's comics that they have the following that I wish I had. They are touring in a way that I wish I was. They are getting the writing gigs, the TV spots, and there is a part of me that's like, I should have that. And I think a lot of comics feel that. Yeah. And I get that. But when I really take a step back and I look at them, like, I got to be real, like, those comics disproportionately outwork my peers. And I know I work hard. I know that I've seen those people. They work more.
Oh, yeah,
It just is what it is. And I can't sit here and be mad at them winning when I'm not willing to pay that price. Yeah. So I got to pay that price.
A specific example I'll give of that.
Oh, he's saying names. Oh, it's crazy. We about to blow up as a pot.
Well, this is not a person I dislike. This is a person I didn't understand.
Bridges burnt right now.
To be honest, I never understood Gianmarco.
What if he says a comic I don't like, and now I got to pretend I like the comic? You know what I mean?
This is a conundrum. This is a conundrum and a pickle.
But now you were saying?
No, so Gianmarco, I never understood it, not because I didn't think he was funny. I was just like, wow, this guy is like really, really going for it, like in a different way. Like he's so theatrical. And I talked to him directly about this, you know. I opened for him a couple times last year, and we had some nice breakfasts, and we've had some long drives, and I've talked to him about all this stuff.
Right.
And I guess I didn't really know him, and I remember when he got in at the Cellar, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like I know this guy from open mics and whatever, and but I remember once Lucas Connolly had me produce a show. He had some guy booked Lucas to do his birthday party, and we did it at a sushi restaurant right over here in Bushwick. And it was me and Gianmarco and Rob Cantrell.
Okay.
And
dope lineup.
Rob I've known forever. I don't know him, but I remember seeing him from my first shows that I was on. And I always respected him. And I had to bring all the gear. I set up the show, and I didn't really know Gianmarco yet. And he absolutely destroyed. But when he wasn't on, I think Rob was headlining, so I went up, did 15. I brought up Gianmarco and then Rob. And during Rob's set, who cares? The point is, Gianmarco was on his laptop going line by line through transcripts of other sets of his and like highlighting shit and rewriting shit. He's being fully antisocial, which I actually don't ever care about that. Like when I'm at a show, if I see a comic in their phone or whatever, it's like, I get it. Like I have my own routines or whatever.
You doing what you got to do to be professional. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, and but I was just like, oh wow, and because there was a lot going on in this restaurant, and he was just like huddled in a corner working on his stuff, and I was like, yeah, he works hard. He works his ass off, and he deserves everything he's gotten.
That dude gets up more than most of you, real talk, and he's winning for a reason. That dude, like, he went from open mics to the Cellar because he did every show.
Yes,
like. There's show, like, I'll do any show. I won't do any show the same day. Meaning, right. I'm not going from, like, Bushwick to the Bronx.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing. I've seen that dude run into sets all the time. Just get into every spot that he can to work on being on stage. So, that dude winning.
Yeah. Man, I was going to think there was something else I was thinking of when you were saying what you were saying about that, but I lost it. Anyway, working hard. Who wants to do it, really?
Real talk. It's tough, B. I don't know, man. I think it's a reality check you got to have with yourself.
Yeah.
I def think it helps that I have kids. In the sense that I like being an example of what I preach. Yeah. So I think that's important. It's also the challenge because I like seeing them. They're cool people. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I feel like I got to double down So like I said, this year that's kind of my agenda. I want to empty the clip. I want to show. I want to put out some things that I really think are fire, and I want to put out an amount of things that I think will surprise people that have followed me so far. So yeah, that's my agenda this year. I ain't gonna hype it up too much because then y'all gonna be, you know what I mean, like I'ma just do.
Yes.
But you will see. This year's gonna be fun.
Yeah, what are the kids saying? Say less?
Say less. You know what I mean? But I don't think they say it that way. I think they saying it like we get it. Not like don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, I thought it was in reference to like just do it. Don't advertise what you're doing. Just do it, and then people will talk about it.
Yeah, nah. Say less always sound rude to me. I never got behind that slang.
I like it in terms of when I'm like, well, I think we should go to this restaurant and then go to the show, and somebody says say less, meaning, all right, you don't even have to pitch me anymore. Let's just go do it.
Right.
Which I kind of like. That's got a good vibe to it. But when it's say less, like stop bullshitting me and show me, then I'm like, all right, back off.
Yeah. Nah, I don't like it at all. I feel like you just got rude people around you.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got a sticker about it. I think that's maybe Alex C. has that.
Oh, but see, like when he says it, it's fun.
Yeah.
Alex got swag when he says it.
Yeah.
Real talk. I gotta go to his restaurant, man. That's
that's good
Real
stuff.
It's been a minute. I haven't had
those empanadas.
The empanadas, the cheeseburger, and the cheesesteak.
I like a black bean and plantain anything.
Well, I mean,
I'll eat that like, all day.
That's not like I feel like he's cheating. Alex has a vegan restaurant.
Yeah,
but like it's a Spanish restaurant, so like most of the foods is just Spanish food.
You just get it without meat.
Like I was like, oh, like this is vegan, just rice, beans, and platanos. Like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about lazy comics? This guy's got multiple restaurants, an HBO special. Like this guy, what a slacker. Piece of garbage. Just like doesn't even try. Speaking of which, I'm thinking of posting these 2 host sets I've had recently that were really fun.
Do it.
But like kind of crazy, a
Why
little bit like.
What's the hold up?
Well, I guess it's like, do I want if they like both of them are crowd work heavy? Because by the way, I prefer to just do material. I just want to do stuff I'm excited about. But both of these, well, one room required it because there was like a kind of this is a grizzly pear set at midnight. It's a weird mixed drunk crowd. I needed to get their attention, get them excited and focused. So I did a lot of weird. I don't even know if crowd work is the right word. It's more like improvisational, like responses to things that were said from the crowd. I guess that's crowd work. But like, I didn't go in so deep with like really getting to know them. I just whatever. And then the other one is at the Laugh Tour. The producer there, he likes the host to do a lot of interacting with the audience to get them to feel like they're a part of the show. Okay. So I guess I'm prefacing that to say I'm not. If I post these clips, I'm not like, hey, look at me, I'm a crowd work comic. But they were fun sets with a lot of laughs. There are some jokes in there that aren't done yet, and I don't really want out there yet. So I'm like, do I just like do a cute editing thing where I fast forward through those? Also, some of the stuff that gets people laughing is just like hacky shit that I don't know. I'm like in the moment, I'm like, yeah, I got them going. It was a great way to open the show. But looking back at it, I'm like, I'm not that proud of that part. You know?
That's fair.
So I don't know. I'm just like, I should just put this stuff out there because it's like all like so situational that like it wouldn't be burning material. Maybe it would at least show people a little bit more of what I do that's more current because anything that's publicly available of me doing stand-up is pretty old at this point, except for a couple things. One duo set with you, one thing from the summertime I put up. So please subscribe, enjoy some more videos, watch some of these things I have on here. I got to organize the channel too. Do you know anything about that? How to like have like a section that's just stand up and then a section that's just podcasts?
My channel does that.
Should I just Google how to do that?
Yeah. I even have our pod on my channel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I gotta work that out because I'm just like I've been for the last year because we started exactly a year ago right now.
Word up.
I've just been like kind of just going by the seat of my pants. I think this year's about systematizing.
I like it. System.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's the question. If there's some stuff that's a little hacky or embarrassing, do you think I just put it out there? Do you think I acknowledge it? Do you think I say?
I am gonna say no. I am gonna say put out anything that is not material, because you don't want to burn it. That is not hacky.
Yeah.
If it's hacky, I wouldn't put it out. I feel like I'm pro hacky in the room. I'm with you on that. Do whatever you got to do to get a laugh in the room. Because then once you have that, then you can get into the material.
Yeah.
But getting the laugh, get the laugh. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But when I put it out into the world, I'm saying I'm proud of this.
Yeah.
This speaks
when
for
it's
me.
on the record.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
So that's my line.
Okay.
Do the hacky in the show, cool. But like the things I share, I gotta say like, yo, this is me.
I might just maybe I'll just do some editing. Yeah. And who cares?
Yeah,
whatever.
Put that out.
Yeah. All right.
See, we got lines, okay? We got some ethics, some morals.
Yeah. And performing more locally. I gotta just roll up on some of these shows around here more often.
I still have. Have you been back to the furniture store?
No. I saw them out there one night. I did go back one night, and I was like, I walked in, and it was like 25 people on the list, and some horrendous shit was being said on stage. And I looked at my watch, my iPhone instead of a watch, and I was like, all right, it's 10 o'clock now. If I go up last, it's going to be like 12:30 in the morning. I was just like, I can't stay here. I can't do it.
See,
so
want it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, where does self-care, how far does where does self-care meet hard work? You know what I mean? Because I also, a big part of my life is my recovery. We've talked about it. Sobriety. I gotta take care of my brain.
Yeah, that's how bad those jokes were.
Well, it wasn't.
Yo, some of these comics, they challenge my sobriety.
It's not. Well, it's the. Yeah, some of them I'm like, I need to go get a bag of crack and find a cave down by the river.
Oh my God,
No,
yo, that's a new level of bad, yo.
For
Jesus
me,
Christ, yo.
It's the.
Yo, you heard Patrick fell off the wagon. He went to that open mic, yo. Oh man, yo, you heard, whose joke killed him? Yo, it was you, B. You gotta own that forever, B.
He was 16 years sober,
and then he heard your joke,
and then he heard one more women be shopping, and he was like, "That's it, that is it,
it's over." Oh man, he's like, "So you guys been doing therapy?" And he said, "That's it. I'm done with this."
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. What are some premises that you can't do anymore?
I think the therapy one is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Any premise is fine. It's just like you gotta add a yes and to it that's different and personal to you,
or just enter in differently. Like the therapy one in particular. Like when somebody starts with like clap it up if you're in therapy, or like, hey, we're all doing therapy, whatever. Like it's like you don't have to normalize it anymore. Just tell the bit. Tell the joke.
If you clap it up, on God, I hate that phrase, yo.
Yeah.
Clap it up I only allow it if I'm doing a fundraiser.
Yeah, or the host, fine. Clap it up if you're celebrating something. Clap it up for your next comic, whatever.
Real talk. They got to be like ribbons involved. Somebody won something. Somebody graduated.
There better be a big pair of scissors
Real
somewhere.
Real talk, B. Just clapping it up at show. Yo, I posted about this a while. I don't know if I said this on the show. Did I?
I don't.
There's a comic that I was shitting on them.
Oh, because they left this stuff in the album.
They have 4 clap it ups in the album.
Yeah.
It was like a 19-minute album.
Yeah.
How you got 4 clap it ups? He was like clapping up for the troops.
You gotta tell me who that was after.
He like defriended me because he figured out I was. Is it
allowed to? Are you allowed to call it an album at 19 minutes? I feel bad saying my special is a special at 33 minutes.
They called it a mixtape in their defense, but still, like, they was like, yo,
oh man!
At the end of the year, they said, I put out 4 albums.
Oh no! You can't say that.
now
put
with
out
all those clap it ups.
You put out 4 sets.
Real talk.
Those are sets.
And it was multiple tracks, different locations.
Oh, I gotta know. I think I might know actually.
Real talk. Clap it ups. All
this
over
is
that
kind
place.
of fun hearing you cranky.
Yo, I get there sometimes. B. Real talk.
Yeah.
I'm when I'm motivated and I'm about to work. Like I see the trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it annoys me because it's in my way.
Yeah, you're like
know what I mean?
over it.
I'm over it, and also like there's stuff I want to do, and if I get told no, and then I see that person at the show, I'm like, yo, like this is what's on stage instead of me.
Yeah.
Nah, B. I'm bullying some of y'all off of these stages now.
Yeah. I get that.
Have some pride.
Yeah.
4 clap it ups. Ridiculous.
Yeah, if you're saying clap it up, there's got to be one of those thermometers with the financials on there, where it's like construction paper.
Real talk, yo.
It's a fun. Somebody's either very sick. We're raising.
Amen.
Or we're trying to pull a scholarship together.
Real talk, B. Who are these kids in Africa that you saving?
Yeah.
Who are these puppies that's dying? Okay.
Yeah.
We got to be at the prom on Saved by the Bell.
But yeah, if we're in a dive bar at 10 p.m. in an outer borough, no clapping it up.
No clapping.
You know what I copped to on stage the other night that I was not happy about? I was ashamed of. I was just there to do a set, and I've been hosting so much lately because I'm just trying to get gigs. So I'm like, yeah, I'll host, whatever. But I had a spot. And I had a really fun, like, first 75% of the set, but I never really decided on what I was going to close on. Okay. Because when I'm hosting, oftentimes I'm closing on, all right, are you guys ready for a good show?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm, like, creating some energy and momentum around the formalities of bringing up comics. So I was like, oh, shit, I don't even know. Like, in my head, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to close on. So I just did that thing where I was like, anybody got any questions? And which I hate. I hate that, and I also hate, all right, I got a joke about sex, or I got a joke about the chiropractor. Which one do you guys want to hear? I hate that so much.
Yeah.
I don't like when the comic makes the audience have to do anything. That's really fucking annoying to me. But when I said, does anybody have any questions? And I cut them off. I was like, by the way, if a comic ever says that, that means it's not going great up here. And that got a laugh. And then I did figure out what I was going to say next. But I was like so ashamed of that in the moment. I was like, why didn't I just take 10 minutes to plan out what I was going to, because sometimes I'm just like, I'll start with this and I'll end with this. And in the middle, I know I want to try this new idea.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters what all goes where, but I was pissed at myself that I didn't like do that basic planning.
That's fair. I do like on the kid. I admittedly also, I like going on stage without a plan sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to like work out that muscle of like, it feels like what I forget that dude, the like kind of like an escape artist, like tie me up.
Houdini.
With, like Houdini
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Put me
yeah.
in a water tank with my arms tied up.
Yeah.
And I got to get out. So like I like doing that like once or twice a week. I'll do like it can't be an open mic. It has to be real audience.
I remember, and I still regret that I didn't keep my camera rolling. That apartment show we did,
Yeah, perfect
with
example.
the kids. There was all these small kids there, and Gastor went up and did some really profound, deep, like interesting, bleak material about life in general, life and death, possibly.
Yeah.
And I
got
think
that
the
recorded.
basic premise was you kids don't understand how hard life gets. It's kind of might have been the premise. And for the adults in the room, there was only a handful of us. It was it wasn't a well-attended show. It was like 3 small kids felt like a lot of kids in this environment.
Yeah.
And you just went off the cuff for your 10 minutes on this pretty bleak topic, and it was just so funny. And it was fun to see you work in that way. In that scenario, and it makes me think you should pitch yourself for stand up on the spot. You ever hear of that show?
I've heard of this. I don't know how to go about. I've never
think
pitched
you'd be
myself for any
great.
show, so I don't know how to go about that.
I think that's something I'll push back on you.
That's fair.
I don't
should
know if
do that
that's
more.
ego related or it's just you.
It's cultural.
Okay, but you have the luxury of being invited to do a lot of shows. I think you should be pitching yourself for shows that would challenge you or are interesting to you or would expose you more.
No, you're right.
And I would say the same thing for clubs. I mean, if you're waiting to get invited to do the cellar or the stand, that's kind of on you. Because
I'm at the stand. I am at New York Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And
but I think it is New York that he does that show stand up on the
out.
spot. Jeremiah Watkins.
The cellar I'm not at, and that's a part of it. I don't even go there. I have a thing about like if I'm not past at the club, I don't want to go there because like I feel like I should just be working.
Yeah, I think that is very much the reference system. I think.
That's my understanding. Like the cellar's like you need a cosigner too.
Yeah, start sniffing around on that.
So yeah, and like even with that, like I feel like and you're right. This is something that I have to get over and work out differently. But like essentially, like my idea is at some point it's gonna get ridiculous that I'm not at the cellar.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else, I have a decent amount of credits that like I should be here. All of my peers are slowly becoming cellar comics at this point. So like I think there'll come a point where like it's like how is he not here?
Right.
And then those comics that are my peers that'll now be instead of being the new comics at the cellar are now the majority of the cellar. Mm-hmm. Would then say, yo, why haven't you come here yet? We'll co-sign you, and then it'll be a formality. I also, and to be clear, like most of my every club that I'm past at, I got past that kind of like as a, oh yeah, you should have been here already.
Right.
I didn't really do like auditions. I didn't request. I didn't do any like check spots. Yeah. But in turn, to your point, it took longer for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I should get over that. I should do it differently. Why am I blanking on her name? She used to book Butterboy.
Oh, Marianne.
Yeah. She kind of like checked me on that hard.
Yeah.
We met hanging out at Jess Solomon's.
Yeah.
For like a July 4th party or something. We're hanging out, and every comic that was there is a dope comic. Mm-hmm. You know, she had Josh Gondelman, her partner's there, all comics that she loves and respect. All were saying, yo, what's up, Gastor? And mentioning that I was a good comic. And she's like, I've never heard of you.
Yeah.
And she booked me on the show. And I did really well, thankfully. And she kind of told me, she's like, yo, like, thank you so much for doing it. I was like, thank you. Admittedly, I've never asked to do the show because I've never thought to do that. And she was like, how am I supposed to know you exist?
Exactly.
There's 20,000 of you guys in New York.
Yeah.
And that's fair. So I gotta get over that.
Which is a little bit of a soul-crushing anecdote to hear because I have certainly sent Marianne tapes and have gotten responses, and it's the response of, we're booked out for like the next year, but let's get in touch again.
That is true too.
So
though. But I do think, to be clear, and this is something that comes up with my show, we check different boxes. And the box you checked is more of people that fill that box.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really the challenge.
I met Marianne at a cookie party before I was a comic. I've been Facebook friends with her for like 16 years or something.
That's beautiful.
So it's kind of like there's that weird thing too of like the context I met you in
comedy
is like you're just a dude at a party. So like why am I going to just have some dude come do a show? I don't know you from the I get shit off because I do sandwich at Union Hall with Jess, and I have a lot of dope friends that are comics. I very, very, very rarely book male white comics. And
they're friends of mine, but yourself included. I have a ton of like male white friends that I think are genuinely brilliant comics that I make it a point not to book, not because I don't rock with you, but because there are Black, Latino, LGBTQ comics who A, don't get enough stage time, B, over and over again blow my mind. They have literally never performed there, and it's, I would argue, currently one of the 2 or 3 biggest rooms in Brooklyn, definitely historically. But like I'll Jared Waters, Julio Diaz, like I'm blanking off of the top of my head now, but like I've given low key maybe like 50 comics their first spot at Union Hall. That blows my mind, and they're predominantly people of color that like I feel like are killing everywhere else,
right?
And for some reason this demo hasn't seen. So like I'm sorry, like you know what I mean, like there's people that are my homies that like I love you, I think you're dope, but I can't give you one of the 2 spots I got every 2 months.
Yeah.
I got 12 comics that I could book all year that I need to make sure are people that are not being seen by this community.
Yeah.
So yeah, that stuff like that comes up, and I'm sure Mariam is dealing with similar. Where she got 4 spots.
Yeah.
She's the producer, but I also know she has 2 to 3 co-hosts that also every now and then are like, "Yo, can you book my homie?" So she got 3 seats.
Yeah.
To book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like realistically, 120 seats all year to book over 10 to 20,000 comics to reach out to her.
Yeah.
That shit hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I don't have any hard feelings about it. I think where I'm at is like, if I could just keep these 2 rooms that book me consistently, if I get a handful of spots from both of them, if I do a couple bar shows and then take a couple trips outside of the city to do some stuff every month, like, and I'll get the footage, and this is the year I'm going to just put more stuff out there. Like, it'll all come together.
It all balances out.
You know.
And then it changes your value proposition. Now you're not another white comic. You're a white comic with this credit. That admittedly, like, that helps, because now, like, you help to draw some people that now makes the show better so that I could gamble on a newer comic.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Like, that changes that. So, like, it is what it is. Like, unfortunately, there are a lot more white male comics doing comedy at a pretty good level. So, like, the threshold of who you're competing against, you got people with, like, 20 TV appearances that are solid comics that also aren't getting all those shows.
Yeah.
It's hard for y'all, B.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of shows, you got any like locations you want people to know about? You got any big gigs coming up?
Yo, that was the hardest pivot. My man Patrick said, "Chill, B."
Well, I'm trying to let people know that I'm going to be in the Chicago, Wisconsin area the first week of March.
When is this coming out?
No, what is this? This is January 15th. This episode.
I will be at Comedy Works in Saratoga.
Whoa, that's fun.
Headlining Friday and Saturday. I want to say January 20-something. Like,
oh, that's a nice time of year to go to Florida.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think Saratoga? Saratoga.
Sarasota? West, isn't there a
one
Comedy
in New
Works
York? Up New York. Upstate New York. Nyack? I don't do this well.
Levity Live? Oh, no. Oh, Saratoga.
Saratoga, right?
Yes,
I did say it right. Yeah.
I thought you said Florida in there.
My fault. Maybe I did say Florida.
Yeah,
Saratoga.
Comedy Works Saratoga. Nice. That's
yeah,
great.
I'm going to be out there, baby.
That's amazing.
Headlining 3 shows, trying some new stuff. Come through.
My sister used to go to shows there a lot. She used to live up there, and she would go see Jay McBride a bunch at the Comedy Works. Yeah, that's great. That's a fun room, I've heard.
Come through. What you going to be doing over there?
I'm not going up there.
You going to Colorado?
Yeah. I'm going to go to Colorado in last week of March, I think. We're not 100% sure if that's actually happening. I got to talk to her. I got to get permission.
Ever,
but that is
no days. We barely know locations.
Yeah. So that's last week of March, Denver area, and then first week of March. Yeah, first week of March, Wisconsin.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Chicago.
Gang.
So, yeah, like, hit me up if you're in those areas. Let's meet up at a show. Let's do a podcast. I want to do more podcasts. I want to just go on as a guest.
I'm good.
You don't like doing that?
I enjoy it, but I definitely I do enough of them.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Have a cool concept if you're going to hit me up for a podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
have a plan.
Yeah,
don't waste my time. You ever do a podcast where it turns into a 5-hour event?
That's brutal. 5 hours is wild. You
That's
did a 5-hour pod?
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it.
I did a pod where the co-host had no idea who I was.
That might have been my podcast. Was that the comics table?
No. There was it was hosted by 2 comics. I'll say the first one because it's my homie, and the podcast doesn't exist, so I'm not shitting on the pod. Yeah. My boy Ishmael Gaynor had a podcast that he was hosting at Tiny Cupboard. His co-host, no idea who I was, and
no research was done.
And no research was done. So they were like, "Yo, we bringing in all the big dogs." You know what I mean? So Ish is my dude. You know what I mean? So he brings me through. He's like, "Yeah, this is dope." And she's like, "So who? How long you been doing comedy?" Who?
I was a lady.
Yeah. So she was lost, no idea who I was whatsoever, And like by the end of the pod, she's like, "Man, you sound pretty cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of think I am."
Yeah.
Yo, it was like, it was just short of being offensive. Like it was so genuine that she didn't know me, but also like I was like, yo, like literally like a 10-minute Google before.
Yeah.
The questions was wild. She was like, so where you from? And I'm like, I don't think I've said East New York more.
Right.
Right. I could not possibly
Yeah.
like say Brooklyn more in my sets than anybody else. Like I'm unmatched with repping my hood.
What bugs me about this is like podcasting is hard. We're just doing a chat show. It's hard to keep this 45 minutes going and flowing and at least interesting on some level. I don't even know if this is entertaining on any level, but it's hard to just fill the time, right? But then with an interview show, it takes a while to learn how to research somebody, ask questions in a way that reveals something or keeps them engaged, and it feels like a conversation, but it's actually an interview. But when people are so bad at it, it's like, have you not ever seen like Katie Couric or have you ever not seen somebody ask somebody a question?
Have you talked to a person?
Yes.
Like,
have you had an interaction?
Have you talked to anybody in this world? There's no, like, every question I was asked is like, yo, there's no way you talk to people.
Yeah.
And not, like, this is rude.
Yeah.
To bring me on the show and like interview me and not know anything about me.
And it's hard to not want to big time somebody and be like, yo, you didn't do the work.
It was a little bit of like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I was like, yo, like, she was like, so like, what have you, I'm like, yo, like, I've been on like, you know, not to toot my home, but I was on like 8 shows by that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, like, I got some credit. She's like, yeah, that's dope. When'd you do that?
You're like, it's on the public record.
I'm like, it's outside.
It's
like,
it's on my YouTube.
And we were recording it at like a room. I'm like, yo, like my flyer is right there.
Somebody brought me up last night. They forgot my last name. They're like, and now welcome to the stage, Patrick. And somebody in the front row goes, "What's up, Patrick?" Like the indignity. And it was a 10 o'clock show.
Oh my god!
And I just wanted to do my bits. I just wanted to get going, so I didn't even acknowledge it. But I could tell into my second joke or whatever. I think the people in the crowd were like, "You were just disrespected. How are you not commenting on how disrespected you just were?"
You gonna take that, Patrick? Come on, B.
Oh man, and yeah, so that felt like an equivalent emotion of like. I am nobody, but I want to be like, don't you know who I am at least from
like,
the group text?
Real talk. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I'm not famous. I'm not any of that. But like in the comedy little totem pole or whatever, I definitely had done something.
Yeah.
That like as a peer, you should be like, oh, like respect. That's dope.
Yeah.
Not even view me as bigger or any of that, but just like, oh, that's cool that you've done that.
Yeah.
Like you should know.
And for me, on the comedy totem pole, my first and last name is readily available. And it'd be nice for people to at least hear what my last name sounds like.
Listen,
whether you say Holbert or Holbert, I don't care. Just say one of them.
Say something. Say H.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But like I will say I am not good at being subtle when I'm bothered. So
people can tell.
Yeah, like by the end of the episode, there was definitely like a little bit of like, yo, what the fuck energy.
Yeah.
I definitely let Ish know about it.
Was there a crowd in the room?
No, it was just us 3, but it was in a empty club.
Yeah.
Like pre-club hours.
Which feels depressing in itself. And
all that was fine. But like there was a lot of like little hidden ghettos. Like I showed up 3 people on the show, me, the 2 hosts.
How many mics
work? 2 mic working whole show.
Yep. I did a podcast last winter where there was 1 mic. It was one of those blue Bluetooth mics.
Right in the middle. Hell yeah.
No, it was 9 feet away from us. We're on a couch. And I have to say, this has been one of the biggest challenges in my whole career. I am a professional with audio, video. I know a lot about this shit. And I have had to consciously decide, don't go in and try to fix other people's shit. Because it's going to take away. Because honestly, a podcast like that, I'm just here to practice being on a show. Yeah. Being interviewed, trying to be funny off the cuff. Nobody's ever gonna see or hear this anyway. Who cares?
Real talk. Ish, you still my man. Real talk. That's my dude. Love the dude. Real funny comic. Y'all should check out his work.
Yeah, he works hard.
Real talk.
He's always
He
always out there.
He has he's had 3 terrible podcasts. But his shows are fire. His sets are fire.
Yeah.
And his next podcast will be better because it's with another co-host.
Yeah, and you know that's how we learn. We
talk.
fall on
I
our
will
face.
say that co-host left and has a dope show.
The girl?
Yeah, she had I think she figured
a
it
live
out.
show or
another
podcast?
podcast. She had a podcast idea that was really, really fire.
Oh, that's
that she
smart.
loved to do. And she is like genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Just did not do any research at all that day.
Yeah. Well, that's how she learns.
Amen. Real talk. She cool. I'm being an ass. She was genuinely cool people, but that interview was wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've reached the end of our podcast.
Amen.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Salud. Hey, cheers to you.
Gang,
Happy
yo.
New Year.
Happy New
Best
Year's,
of
yo.
luck with all your endeavors.
3 weeks into the year. Happy New Year's, baby.
Yes.
This episode drops in February, my G.
Yeah. For the record, we're recording on January 6th. So
we not even we barely New Year's as is, yo.
Yeah. Happy January 6th to
Real
all
talk,
who
yo.
celebrate.
Happy President's Day.
Yes. Oh man.
Oh man. Real talk, yo.
We're doing the best we can.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
With what we have. Yeah. Oh, first day of spring coming up.
Gang. Real talk. Get your taxes ready.
Yeah. All right.
Catch y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Peace.